On today's episode of Watch Share Go, I'm going to tell you a story. I bought an R35 GT-R. Everyone's real dream car, isn't it? I mean, this is like the ultimate if you ever watch Top Gear. But my journey to buy a GT-R was long and tumultuous and involved a GT-R getting completely totaled. What is going on, guys? I'm Watch JR Go, and today I'm here at the house sitting on my Air Aladdin that's busy getting fixed. And it turns out race cars are race cars and they break. It's just something that happens when you make big power. But there's a car I always wanted. An R35 GT-R since the day it came out with its dual clutch goodness and all of the technology, the Gran Turismo interface for the gauges. Just like the perfect car for anyone that grew up in the internet era, you know. You come from the Diablo days and then, you know, you're there for the whole internet, and then this car comes out that embodies everything. Supercars, technology, power, turbos, perfection, and a dual clutch at that. Well, obviously I've always wanted one, and I've always wanted a 13 plus because that's where the transmissions are fixed, and I've stayed far away from buying any cheaper ones that could have the old bad transmission and tuning, even though you could just put a Chef Trans in it. I wanted a good one out of the gate. So I went on the hunt, and last year I had it found. A 2014, 14,000 miles, never touched, except for the exhaust, completely stock. Just an exhaust on it, no big deal, not even tuned, sounded great, was perfect, and at $73,000. I was like, it's too much. But you know what, I've waited my whole life for this, let's do it. So I came back to Wichita to hit the bank. We had a sales contract all written up and everything. And I was like, I'll be back tomorrow with this cash. I'm taking the car home. This dealership had some friends that were kids, and they let these kids go drive the car that morning. And I was like, all right, everything's still good. I'm about to come up. And they were like, no, the car doesn't exist anymore. I was like, what do you mean? You're just messing with me, right? They're like, nope, somebody totaled it. And of course, I'll put all the pictures on here right now. It was perfect. I was driving it. I was loving it. And then boom, the fourth picture is like the car hit on every single side, all the wheels folded up, every airbag deployed. They hit a wall, like spinning somehow, crazy stuff. And that was my beautiful black R35 GT-R that I always wanted. Well, today, try number 2. And this one made it home. I've never driven it. I've never been in the car. I've only heard it run one time. I don't know anything about this car other than full bolt-on E85 and a Cobb tune. My buddy Brandon bought this car about a year ago and decided it was time to move on to something else, so he listed it for an incredibly cheap price. Way cheaper than I was gonna pay for that 14. And it has more miles on it. It's got 93,000 miles on it, but it's kind of just about what you want in a GT-R, and it's sitting right behind the truck. So let's go check it out. We're gonna go on the first drive together. I haven't even looked at the car. It was at my house one night. He came up for cars and coffee. So I mean, I've seen the outside of it, but that's it. Let's go drive it. We're gonna check it out together for the first time. Like all projects on this channel, I make sure we don't investigate anything. We learn it together every single time. So let's do it. If you don't know the GT-R market, this car is probably worth $65,000 to $70,000. I paid considerably less than that, but here it is, looking all pretty. Put some pictures of it the first time it was parked at my house up. Body's completely straight. The last one of these I actually drove was that one that got wrecked hours after I said I'm buying it. So it's been a very long time. We're gonna go cruise around.
That's not factory, is it?
What? Oh, this is like an eBay thing, actually. Yeah, it's not cool at all, but very cool. So I'm definitely leaving it, but it's also kind of like messed up to be on there. Anyway, Jared's got the 1198. I guess we're gonna go drive around with the pearl white beasts.
We should take him to the warehouse.
Jared and Zach were with me in Topeka to pick this thing up. So like I said, I've never driven it, looked into it. Brandon's a good guy though. I'm sure it's a good car. Man, the GT-R makes a lot of noises. What a ride. Got the access port over there. GTA screen right there, the old polyphonic digital. wondering, the 1198 is still faster than this GT-R. Sometimes I forget how fast that bike is. It was faster than a 700 horse 911 Turbo S. I think all the way through a pole. So it's probably still faster than this up until the big end here. Here he goes. I'll just take the hit. I saw his headlight make this car stand still. Oh, it's so funny. I just don't want to downshift. I want to let the car do the work. Good times. Good times. This car is legit fast. But nothing's like those sport bikes until you get to the Huracan with the underground kit. This does shoot fire. The fire is pretty cool. And we were here at the warehouse. My brother wanted to take pictures, so we showed up, trying to look like Jordan's dream garage that we saw when I picked up my R32. So now we got the 35, the 32, that beautiful pearl white on the 1198. I mean, this is like probably the most beautiful bike ever built. I really don't know if anything will ever top it. One of the worst bikes you'll ever ride in your entire life, but oh, does it look good. Anyway, I'm pretty pumped about this lineup. There's, I don't know, 1,500 horsepower in there, something like that. Maybe a little bit more. So, pretty cool. We don't have the carbon ceramic brakes. This is not actually a black edition. This is a premium. That's why we don't have the carbon ceramics. Not a Nismo, not a black edition. It just has black edition wheels from a local friend, the same guy that put together the Hoovy Lambo deal. He has a GT-R, and he sold these wheels to my friend that I bought the car from. So it's just, this stuff just moves around, you know. And what's funny is he lives right beside my house, and I was like, I'm just bringing your wheels back to the neighborhood. We've got a lot of learning to do on the car, figuring out what's done, what needs done. And I'd like to do race week with it. So, Clayton, Jared's friend that's always over here with the G8 GT, the 350 swaps, not anymore. Now it's a LS. What engine's in that actually? It's an LS3. Oh, a real LS3. What a baller. Not a truck engine in the Grand National. They've been working on that for quite a while. He has an extra race week ticket because they were going to take the Grand National. It's not done. So they were like, bring this. So I guess we're coming for a race week. That's kind of the plan. Bart's the first thing to go. I just wanted to leave it on there until we got home. So it looks super good.
The gas station was like, I just saw that on Facebook.
Who at the gas station?
Some random guy was like, I just saw that on Facebook.
The windshield's definitely tinted, and it needs untinted because you cannot see these headlights.
It's horrible.
Oh, I hate tinted windshields. I used to run them on stuff, but man, there's no visibility at night. It's definitely dangerous.
I couldn't tell if the gas station was open or not because it looked like it was dark.
Every time the low beams are on, I just leave the high beams on because I can't see the headlights at all. It just looks like the DRLs are on the road. Just the. So we'll get that windshield detinted or changed to like 80%, so there's almost no tint in it. So let's take you on a tour of my 2013 GT-R. Basically, we walked all the way around the outside. We've got those sick door handles that pop out, and we have no clearance between the two GT-Rs. So let me get in here and open the hood. Let's take a look at this. We've definitely got some go fast bits, diverter valves there, blow off valves, and intake. That's aftermarket. Not much to see here. It does have the flex fuel set up on it, and I can use the Fuel It app on my phone to see the ethanol content as I drive. Obviously no leaks or anything like that, as you'd expect from a GT-R that's been well cared for a lot of miles. It's on Pilot Sport 4S's. These should be 20s if I remember right. Yeah, 255, 40, 20s. Lots of cool little touches on it. I love the tint on the side that really draws the whole car together. I just don't like the windshield very much. And inside it's just wildly clean. So, give you a quick tour. Let's get rid of this. We gotta throw away all the air fresheners that are in here. Those are all gone. Anyway, clean carpets, carbon Bose system, really, really nice seats. The factory subwoofers. Everything's been LED swapped, including the roof lights there, the overhead console lights, and these door lights with the eBay GT-R pedal lights. And it looks like there was a V1 or something I just noticed. There's a mirror tab hanging out up there. What a huge trunk. Pretty cool.
2 sets of golf clubs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 2 sets of golf club trunk, if I remember right. The pull thing came off there. Pearl's nice. Matches the Ducati perfectly. And it really does look like a black edition. I'm not upset about that. So anyway, that's the new toy, one that we're gonna put a lot of time and effort into. At least we're gonna drive it a lot. And I'm just ready to have some fun with it. A very fast daily driver that I'll probably be dailying. I'll probably put a lot of miles on this thing. We've got the real Godzilla, the 32, right? The one everybody is like, this is the car. And we've got the new one that honestly feels just like it. I can't tell you how similar the driving experiences are, which is very hilarious. This R35 feels like the R32 grew up, especially when they're both modded to like sort of the same levels. This one makes 700 wheel. This probably makes like 600, who knows? I haven't had it on a dyno, but you know, I'm sure it makes roughly that power range. It feels just like it. It kind of drives the same. So very interesting. We should probably talk about the specs for just a minute. In the R35, obviously, it was a complete redesign of the GT-R platform. This is the VR38 DETT compared to the old RB26 in this, which is an inline six. This is a V6 twin turbo. Of course, the R32 is twin turbo as well. Mine's a big single, but this thing made almost 500 horsepower back in 08, when 500 horsepower is a little bit unheard of. 474 horsepower or something like that, and 434 foot-pounds of torque. Of course, this one is considerably faster, but those were epic numbers back then. The driving experience is honestly my favorite thing about the R35. You guys remember, we all remember when it came out, the whole internet just hated on it, just trashed these cars, saying it was like a video game to drive, and it was so unengaging and uninspiring. All of that is wrong, especially today when we're in the era of good dual clutch gearboxes. This dual clutch is a literal antique. It's probably one of the worst ones. It'll roll back on hills. It takes like days to shift. It's hilarious. When we were sitting there racing, I just gave up because I left it in auto and then tried to floor it. And it's just wait. There's the gear change and it does the thing. In like a Huracan, Porsche, all the new transmissions, mat the pedal and it's like, it's instantaneous. I mean, it's hard to express what those cars are like. They're perfection is what they are. When you want to race somebody, you just hold the downshift lever for 2 seconds and they drop all the way to the lowest available gear. This thing's clunky. It ignores your shifts. What's really funny, when it's in auto, you click it and then it switches to manual and then you click it again and it'll make a gear change. Everything else will be like, you probably want to change gears. Let's do it. None of that in this car. It is the most analog dual clutch interface there ever was. The gauges are amazing because Gran Turismo, right? Polyphonic digital, they're not good. They're just amazing because it's something that connects with your heart. It's a very engaging car. It's hilarious to drive. It's so manual and old for being a dual clutch with a whole bunch of power and all-wheel drive. It really is just like the R32. It's nothing like all the new supercar platforms. So anyway, I have a lot of fun driving these things, and I've always wanted one. And when I drove that other one and I remember just how old and analog feeling this dual clutch is and how funny it is that it's bad at life, I wanted it immediately. It's just like an old single clutch. Single clutches are amazing, bad dual clutches are amazing, and the new cars are, it's just something else. They're truly like a video game because they just blow your mind. It's fun to drive. It's an old car. That's a handful. This car has not really changed since 2008. Sure, they keep facelifting it, and there's no chance on the planet even one of these was ever worth $100,000, but they are all worth $87,000, which is what they all sold for. And I think it's the car at that price point. It's untouchable. But if you get them cheaper, like this one, it's just a great deal. So don't go buy a new one though. My advice would be,
I'd say it's a lot of car for what you paid.
it's a lot of car for what I paid for. It is not a lot of car for $130,000. You should buy anything else. There's so many used McLaren 570S's out there, and it's 10 times the car. It's so much newer, and it's one of those magic gearboxes. It's funny. If you want something that's old and engaging, this is it. And I know this seems like a weird thing to say. I just drive a lot of cars, and I promise you the GT-R is no video game, and it's no marvel of technology today. It was a marvel of technology 12 years ago, 13 years ago, something like that. That's when this thing was in its element. But what's funny is it's still a muscle car, and it's never lost any of its appeal today. I think we all still love them. We just don't love that new price tag. That new price tag, Nissan needs to stop it. Cut it out. You guys know what you're doing is wrong. You've been building the same car since 2008, only fixing the transmission in 2013, and now you're selling it for almost 200 for a Nismo. 182 for a Nismo. So, that's my new car. That's why I love it. It's one of the reasons I've always wanted it. It's here in the shop with the muscle fleet. We'll see if my dreams of owning all the Skylines ever pan out. I don't really plan on buying them or them ever panning out, but we'll see. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjrgo.com where you can get cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time.
It's funny, you can't hear anything over the Ducati.
Can't even hear this thing idle. Listen to this thing struggle to shift. None of the new cars are like that. You don't hear the clutch engagement, you don't hear the shift, you don't hear it trying to do all of its magic switching shafts on the dual clutch. They just do it. This car has a lot of drama, just like a single clutch. I think this video is probably a lot of rambling about my thoughts about the GT-R. I have a lot of them. It's an old tank, it's fun to drive. I'm excited to have one. That's really all I can say.